Today we're going to talk a little bit about our full-time on-road adventure that's coming up, and more specifically I want to talk about how we're going to go from where we're at to leaving and getting on the road. How we're going to take all the stuff we have and pare it down and change mindsets a little bit, enough so that we can live with our family, 6 kids, and do business on the road. On the Crazy Picker Life with Wheeler, Dealer, and Banana Peeler. Welcome, fellow pickers and would-be adventurers. This is Well-Rested Dealer from the Crazy Picker Life. It is Christmas Day. We've had a nice couple days away from the business. Spent a lot of time at home with the kids. Really a nice break. Hope your Christmas is what you want it to be. I'm down at the office here for a few minutes just to put together a short show and a quick show talking about going on the road full time. If you've been watching the vlog in the last few weeks, we came out with the idea, and it's not a new idea, it's just finally time for us to start heading towards that idea. It's the idea of taking our family of 6 kids and my wife, myself, on the road full time, homeschooling on the road, living on the road, and doing business, buying and selling on the road, picking on the road. Now, when I mean on the road, there's a lot of different visions of what that can mean to different people. For me, I want to live in interesting and fun locations, in a house or something close to a house. I want to show my family and share with my family all the things to see and do in these interesting locations. I want to help my children grow and educate them with our homeschooling curriculum, as well as actually seeing as many of the things we learn about firsthand. And I want to pick, buy and sell in different locations throughout North America. I don't want to live in a motorhome. I don't want to live in a tent. I don't want to live necessarily in a hotel room. I don't want to live cramped. I don't want to live super lean. I don't want to eat ramen noodles. I don't want to sleep on the floor. I'm not into all the variations of living on the road that are towards the uncomfortable side. Now, I don't mind doing some of that. I don't mind some of the inconveniences of travel, but I want to live on the side closer to how I already live, with the idea of being in different places, okay? So there's going to be a lot of discussions and a lot of information come out from me on this show on what this really means, and then obviously everything that I think it's going to be on the road is based on my perceptions over the last 48 plus years. And when we actually hit that point where we leave to go on the road, there's going to be some things that are different than my perception. No matter how much we prepare, no matter how much we plan, no matter how much we practice. But that is what makes life interesting. Who wants to live a completely vanilla, the same existence every day, every day, every day? Not me. What I would like to do, though, is if I want to relax and pull back from the craziness, I still want to be able to do that. And I don't see that changing. Okay, so today's talk is a little bit about where we are today, both in stuff and mindset, and the changes and the shifts that will need to happen over the next 520 some days in order to launch and get out on the road and actually make a go of this. Okay? So I drew a little picture, as I sometimes like to do. I'm going to stand up, I guess. Oh, no. Got to get that lighting right. There's some lighting. No matter where I go here, I'm going to run into some lighting issues. So on the left here, we've got 4 headings: mindset, stuff, and mindset. On the bottom, mostly in pink, that's the business. On the top, partially in green and partially in pink, is our home and our home life. Now, if you start on this side and head this way, like this arrow, this would be time. This would be sort of where we're at, and this is where we need to get to leave and go on the road. So let me just sort of explain this in a very short way. I'm going to start on the bottom. Currently in our business, we have stuff to get the business done. We have a mindset on how we run the business. That includes how we'll run it in the future, given everything that's going on at the current moment. We are going to have to pare down our stuff, which we'll talk about in a minute, as time goes on. And we're going to need to get it down to a certain level of smallness in order to launch on the road. Our mindset mostly will be able to be intact, but there is going to have to be a shift not only in how we do things and what we bring along, but then how we operate on the road. I'll talk more about that. In our personal life, there's stuff and there's mindset. Stuff is certainly going to have to be pared down. And for the most part, and I'll talk about this, for the most part, everything we have now will be with us on the other side when we stay in somebody's residence, a rental type residence. So even though we are giving up much of our own personal stuff, that doesn't mean we will not have that on the road. We will just not be carrying it with us. And it will change as we change from place to place. That is going to figure into the mindset. There's going to be more in the mindset and more of a shift in the personal side than I think with the business. The business powers financially our lifestyle, so they are certainly related. Now, stuff I just put in the business, inventory and everything along with that, listing tools, which means computers, testing tools, cleaning stuff. You're going to have packing materials and everything needed to pack and get the stuff out the door. And I just put miscellaneous because there's obviously some miscellaneous. Personal stuff, this is not an all-inclusive list, but I listed a few things that come to mind. Clothing and everything that has to do with that. Food and everything that has to do with that. Furniture and everything that has to do with that. Cozy. What makes your life cozy? Well, there's stuff involved. Bed and bedding and everything that goes with that. Keepsakes and everything that goes with that. Okay. Now, we are a technology business, so obviously there are technology concerns as well. Okay, so that's quite a list, and I didn't necessarily spend all day coming up with that list, so there are some things that are missing. A lot of times, like I've mentioned, my gears just keep turning, and then if I actually sit down and focus myself to a certain problem question area, I just spit out what I have. and then you know, the next day some more gears have been turning, and it may change, or it may there may be revisions, right? Sometimes I wish I could turn the thing off that's spinning in my head, but I've always been that way. I'll probably always be that way until the day I leave. Oh, funny. Well, let's talk briefly about the business. Obviously, there will need to be a shift in the inventory, right? Right now, if I took all my inventory and condensed it all in one place, it probably would take up this vast room. Maybe I could condense it down to half the size if I really wanted to stack it and put it together. The problem is it would be too heavy to transport. It would be too much stuff, right? So I looked at my inventory, and I looked at the largest, heaviest half of my inventory, and I realized that that is expendable. I do not need to pick those things. For the most part, I make money on those things, but for the most part, things larger, I make less money and they sell slower. Now, could I speed those things along? Yeah, I could buy, for example, I could buy a store's beer cooler for $100, which is what I did. Store's beer, S-T-O-R-Z beer. And I got some other things along with it that actually sold pretty quickly. So let's call it $80, okay? So I buy a store's cooler for $80 and I sell it for $260 plus shipping, I believe is what it sold for. I could sell it a lot faster for $180, right? Plus shipping. I probably could turn that thing over at $180, given its condition, in 1 or 2 months. Maybe less. At $180, it probably would still be worth buying, because after all expenses, I'd probably make $70. And $70 on an $80 purchase is pretty good. That I'll do. So that big item could be purchased, and it could be sold within a 3-month window. Worst case, if I made a decision to purchase it towards the end, I could pad it up a little bit on the outside, and I could pack it full in the inside and take it along for a cycle. That's one of those items that has space on the inside and not on the outside. So big items, all I would have to do is think a little differently on them, like move them faster, not buy them, or, and move them faster means quick flip, better pricing, auction if I have to, buy it now with best offer. All those things can happen. That does mean less profit on big items. But those will become icing on the cake, because we will have a space to put them while we're there. We'll have a storage unit. We'll have some shelving. I can just set it on that for 1, 2, 3 months and flip it. Once we move, that's another story. So there's going to have to be a green light to buy and sell. Month 2 could be the yellow light. Hey, we got to get going on some of these items. And month 3 could be the red light. Don't buy big stuff and get the other stuff gone. Problem solved for the most part, right? Couple cycles of that, you get the bugs shaked out. That's it. So I need to get my inventory shored down. I need to get how I'm going to transport that figured out. I need to get on the other end how I'm going to take out of the transport and work with the inventory a little bit. and then obviously a buy-sell cycle on the other side. I don't see that as a big problem. I don't see that as a huge limiter. I see that as a mindset shift, as well as getting rid of some things that we do business with, like shelving and some of my big items, and buying a few things that are either portable to use or things that we can pick up locally within a day's time and then throw out or resell again if we need sawhorses, if I need a shelving unit when I'm there, if I need, whatever. So there'll be more planning in on that. Let's talk about listing tools. Currently, I have a big honkin' heavy computer, an Apple desktop, and 2 screens hooked to that. I have another computer, Mac Pro, which is portable. I have a couple printers for labels. I have monitors that go with these things. I have a couple scales that go with these things. If I take all those things, as well as a few miscellaneous things, I take my pictures with my camera. I have this camera. I have some office utensils like pens and pencils and all that kind of stuff. But really, that's it. That's what it takes me to list. My big computer will not come with me. My heavy big monitors will not come with me. It will most likely be my Mac Pro and a reasonably light small second monitor, which are available these days, whether I choose to take one I have or get a different one. Probably will get a different one that is suited to what we're doing, that will fit in a case with me, something that's very similar to a thin laptop screen that has a small stand, and there you go. Scales, fairly light, but I may opt to get some lighter ones. Label printers, fairly light, no big deal. We probably will get a small other printer, no big deal. Now, supplies for these things, and we should probably hold off on that because packing is a big deal. Packing, there's bubble wrap, there's paper, rolls, there's boxes, there's envelopes, there's tape. There can be quite a bit. I think most of that can be purchased the week we show up and trucked in, either by UPS or if they happen to have someplace local, which bigger cities have more choices. We've always had to send stuff in here. I have a feeling it will be a version of sending it in and picking it up. Does that mean we'll be out of business for that extra week while our supplies come in? No, we'll have some on hand, and we will get smart and we will figure out how much to have on hand, and we'll make do if we run short, and we'll figure out something to do if we go too heavy on it. We can forecast that. We can figure that out. We can also simplify the boxes a little bit and not have as many of the heavy big ones, and there is such a thing as custom boxing where you don't have to have all these sizes. Most of my shipping, I have a lot of different box sizes. I have a lot of stuff like that, mainly because if I buy enough of it, I get perks and toys. And I could get an order every month and not get as many perks and toys and not have nearly as much packing stuff. So supplies, we are real good at ordering stuff online, and where we're staying will be nothing more than just bing, bang, bam, here it is, right? Miscellaneous, there's been some really good things brought up in the comments and the questions. Things like how you're going to handle returns, how you're going to handle, lots of inventory, how much money are you shooting for per month, how's that going to change? There's a bunch more. I'll answer those at another time. I want to keep this reasonably brief. believe me, I've thought about all those things, and some of them are sorted out more than others, and some of them there's a faith issue. I want to mention one thing though. Right now we pick a lot less and we buy a lot more. We could easily pick more in this new lifestyle that we're looking at and have less. In other words, pick up better stuff. Spend more time picking and a little less time listing and a little less time having stuff. That's going to be part of the mindset. There are good items out there if you look. I would like to look more. I enjoy the looking more aspect. It's hard for me to pass by lesser stuff, but I've got two things working for me on that. A, I can do it if I need to pass by, or B, my kids can list some of that stuff. And in most cases, you get that cheap stuff cheap enough where if you can't transport it and you got to throw away a couple $100 worth of stuff that isn't selling, didn't make the cycle, well, first of all, we wouldn't throw it away. We'll just redonate it, right? But second of all, if you throw away every 3 months the stuff that didn't make the cut and it's a couple $100, yet you processed a whole bunch like we do 20,000 in sales a month, a couple $100, yeah, it's 1%, but it is maybe a cost of doing business, okay? Not a big deal. I probably should do more of that now, and those items that I would be throwing out that turned out to be not as great, that I still have around for months and months and months and months, there's a cost associated with that in my current business. It's called listing fees, right? So if I'm not listing stuff that's not going to sell, there's a certain savings as well. Pick well, list often. We will do that. We will pick well. You can never not make some mistakes. You can never not have some waste. Our cycle will just be shortened. That will make us stronger, not cuckoo, stronger. That's a cycle. The cycle of selling. That'll make us stronger. Okay? So the mindset shift that's needed with the business really is going to be on the buying side and the getting out there, the finding side. Finding and buying the right stuff. That's going to be the mindset. I strongly believe there are enough small items out there for us to buy and sell. I strongly believe that. The other thing I'm going to throw out there is going into this, we are going to need enough cash in hand that when we hit the mother load, the super score, the thing we must buy, the once in a year buy thing, we will buy it. And that may take care of us. If it's a quantity deal, that may take care of us for a while, and we may end up moving from one house somewhere near. I don't know how that's going to work out exactly. Or we may end up saying, okay, we hit the super score. We need to take it from Texas to Wisconsin because we booked the place in Wisconsin. We need to take it. How are we going to do that? Well, if it's something we bought for $15,000, let's say it's 1,000 pieces of whatever for $15,000, and from the 15,000 we can't get it all listed and sold. Let's say it's going to sell for 100,000. That's $85,000 of gross profit. Well, spending $800, $1,000 getting it from Texas to Wisconsin for another 3-month cycle is not going to kill us, right? But if we are just inefficient in general and we just keep hoarding and piling stuff on, and we can't throw away the crap, and we can't seem to sell the stuff in the middle, and we're having trouble getting it all listed, well, obviously there will be problems. And so that's my job. That will not happen. It will not happen for long. There will be a mindset shift where I will need to have some accountability and figure that out. Could we go through a 2-week period where we say, hey, crew, we got to buckle down, not buy, get it all listed, da-da-da? Well, sure, that's called adjusting your plan. Could we go through a 2-week period where we're like, we don't have to do anything, we just had a great month? Well, sure. That's part of the fun, right? I'm not trying to create a sweatshop here. This is an experience. There'll be some work involved. I'm planning to work. I'm not planning to kick up my feet until the day is done. This is not a vacation. Just because we happen to be in vacation locations, this will not be a vacation 100% of the time. However, there will be plenty of fun. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the personal life. And I can't speak 100% for my spouse. Lon, her and I differ in the way we look at things quite often. However, somehow her and I got together and we created 6 beautiful children. And because of our likenesses and differences, I think it's great for the kids. If we can make it through it alive. Hi, Lon. Similar stuff and mindset shift is going to happen in our personal life. I listed things like clothes, furniture, food, cozy, bed, keepsakes. Okay, let me hit these really quick. Clothes. Yes, we'll have to pare them down because I'm not planning to be in winter very much unless we go by choice. If we need a certain type of clothing for a short period of time, plus I think it's a great deal, you can get all those things at thrift stores. If you want to update your wardrobe with nice stuff on the road, all you have to do is replace something you're currently wearing. Everybody's going to want to bring certain things. If a person wants more clothes than another person, they can bring that. They just have to bring a little less of everything else, right? My wife does like clothes. She gets double the helping. I've already told her, you get 2 cases where everybody else on the trip gets 1. I've already told her that. That is a consideration I'm giving her. She can have all the clothes she wants. She can have the shoes she wants. She can have all that stuff. Twice as much as anybody else, if she wants. Food. We can get the food that we like to eat anywhere. With shipping, Amazon, all these things these days, we will have just as many or more food selections as anywhere else. Not a problem. Can we buy in bulk the things that we like to buy in bulk? Yes and no. We probably won't have as much freezer space on the road unless we bring along our own small freezer. That's a possibility. We may do that with a storage unit. When we're not traveling, we can use it to tuck things in. If we like to bring certain foods along, we can tuck them in. That's a possibility. Washing clothes, most of the places we're looking at will have a washer and a dryer. When we're on the move, we just bundle it up for a couple of days till we get somewhere. Food, clothes. The other thing on food is if you like to buy certain things in bulk, you can do that. You just need to have them delivered early in the 3-month cycle. We eat them down, and then we get another bundle every month or when we move someplace else. There's a little timing involved. That's not a big deal. Furniture. Yes, everybody likes their own furniture. That is a mindset shift. We will go places that will have different and nicer furniture, and we probably will go some places that have different and not so nice furniture. So that's a mindset thing of, hey, I'm open to change. I'm open to doing it. That's a mindset shift. Cozy. no place we go is going to be as cozy as our home. We are going to offset that, or have to offset that, in different ways. When we move to a new place, everything will be bright and shiny and new for a week or so. Then we will settle in for a few months, and then we will have to pick up and leave. So there will be a cycle involved with getting cozy and getting in there. There are things we can do to make it more cozy. I could make a long list of them, but most of them, between my wife and myself, will be me becoming romantic dealer and taking her and trying to woo her and have fun and go out and walk on the beaches and walk through the forests and whatever else I have to do. Write love poems, whatever. I'll do it. Whatever's needed, cozy. Sitting at Starbucks can be fun too. Get cozy there when everybody's at work. We can be sitting there watching a few people come in and out, and we can just sit back and go, this is pretty cozy. Bed and bedding. Bed and bedding in personal type situations. Bedding's a little like underwear, so I'm not sure exactly how we're going to solve that. However, we could buy new bedding, in a sense, every 3-month cycle. Keep some of it, get some new stuff, replace it, wash it, whatever. Most of the places provide bedding. And then you just have to realize that that's somebody else's underwear that they've worn. So the bedding thing, I'm going to coordinate with Lon and we'll figure it out. I'm not against buying some reasonably nice bedding every once in a while, replace things as needed, whatever is needed there. Because I want to sleep somewhere where I'm not sleeping in somebody's underwear. That's part of cozy. That's just part of the way it needs to be. We are on the road for long enough cycles. We also can have one box or case that has bedding in it. That's not a big deal. So I think we can figure that out. The beds themselves, the kids can adapt to any kind of bed. Me, I do like certain firmnesses and things like that. It's not a deal killer. I don't know what it'll be like for Lon. Keepsakes. We can keep them. We can keep some of the small stuff with us. That can rotate in or out. We just need a place to store some stuff. I've got some ideas on that. We will keep keepsakes. We're not chucking all that stuff. We don't have a whole lot of it. We do have some of it. Okay, so what's the mindset that goes along with shifting? The mindset that needs to go along with a trip like this is we're bringing some stuff that will be with us. Everything else we either have to use that's there, make do without, purchase for temporary use, borrow, make, or whatever. So I happen to know that of all the stuff we have right now in our house, our personal house, half of it we haven't used in 2 or more years. That stuff could all go away and we would hardly notice. I also know that probably another 40 to 45% of everything else that we have that we won't have on the road that's our personal stuff will be there. And some of it will be as nice and some of it will be nicer, and the rest of it will be we can make do till the next stop and we can learn from that. But it's a mindset shift, because you can have a little bit of a panic attack or whatever. I like my stuff. Where's my stuff going to go? I'm not going to have my stuff. So really, I think what we're going to do, what I'm going to recommend to Lon, is we go room by room and we look at stuff and we talk it through, and we're like, that I can't do without, that I can do without, that I don't even know why we have. And have this whole discussion, right? But the mindset shift really is 2 things: how we do stuff and what we have. And what we have just needs to shift to what's available. And it's not really going to be that big a shift. It really isn't. I do not want to feel like I'm living out of a suitcase. That's why we're not necessarily going to live very often in a hotel. And if we do live in some sort of a hotel, it's going to be a long-term suited hotel or an upper scale one where they have lots of nice amenities and they have enough space and they have a kitchenette and all that kind of stuff. Woo. So that's a little bit about the insight of how we need to pare it all down. Now, logistically, we're going to have a rummage sale come this spring, and that's going to be the first big shedding of stuff. The second big shedding of stuff is going to be whenever we move from this business home temporarily. I don't know when that will be. I hope it's not for a while, because I would like to stay here and pare down my stuff before I move home. That would be harder. I don't think I'll move from here to another location to home. Even if I'm out in the next month or two, I think we'll figure out how to move home. That'll be the push point. That will not be very comfortable. I hope that doesn't happen. The next big sell-off and push point will be from the homestead when we're getting closer, probably in the spring and the 6 months prior to when we're actually going. And we will list a lot of things on the classified site locally, and we will have another rummage sale. We'll throw out stuff, we'll donate stuff, we'll sell as much online as we can. Meanwhile, I'll be getting the trailer ready, outfitting that, all that kind of stuff. So it will come together. We'll have, I'll call them suitcases, but we're going to get more of a heavy-duty, serious road case. Not necessarily the kind of case you would take on an airplane flight, but more like you would take on an ocean liner if you're going to be gone for 6 months or something. I mean, we're going to get some cases. Everybody's going to get their own case. They can decorate it. Maybe they'll be in different colors. Lon gets 2. There'll be, probably 4 or 6 that are for other things besides personal stuff. And when we move in and out, it'll all be in cases like that. So, I mean, like I said, this is going to be thought out, planned out. This is not a whim. This is not, I hope it happens. This is the real deal, and it ought to be fun. Not everything's fun, but the thing that I think is the fun is worth it, right? The fun is worth the work. Obviously, with the business, there's work. That's going to happen here, there, anywhere. There's work running a family. That happens here, there, anywhere. There's work making meals. That happens here, there, anywhere. There's work in a relationship. That happens here, there, anywhere. Well, I would like to be a few other places. I would like my kids, like I said, to see the choices out there, see different peoples, see different places, different climates, different topographies, different waterographies, different museums, different athletic things, different hiking trails, running races in different climates and different areas, talking to different people, getting involved in different activities, seeing small, medium, and large cities. When we pick, we interact too, so they'll be talking to different types of people. That's always good. I like to eat different types of food. I like to see different types of things. I want to live in different types of living dwellings. I like a challenge. I like some change. I don't like change every day. I don't like to change everything. I don't mind the idea of changing location every 3 months. Now, could we do this for a couple of cycles and not like it? Sure. Maybe everybody won't like it. Well, then we can talk about it and we can try to change some things and we can give it a little more time and see if it's just the first couple cycles or if it's the whole deal. If the whole deal's off, the whole deal's off. We'll figure something else off. We'll figure something else out, right? No big deal. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Now, somebody did mention, boy, what if Wheeler wants to peel off? Well, I do need to watch that situation. And really, if he does, or if Kate does, we'll adjust. We'll adjust. Now, I think Wheeler's excited enough about it, and I think Kate will hang with us for a while, that we'll be able to stay together as a family unit for a while. I'll tell you what, though, time is ticking. It won't be the same forever. I know that. Did we wait too long? I don't know. We just had some kids. They're 5 and 6. We couldn't have went when they were 1 or 2, 3 or 4. Not as easily. So it is what it is, right? And you can dwell on that all you want. I like to be solution oriented. That's that. I don't mind what ifing stuff, but you know, you can what if stuff off a cliff and you can what if stuff too far. Sooner or later, you either got to decide not to do it, not to live your dreams, not to go, not to try it, or go. Speaking of going, the Mail version of Siri on my computer that does my time work just told me it's 5 o'clock and I got to make supper. So I got to get this thing edited and up, and I got to get out of here. I don't know. I'm going to have to decide if it's going to be up tonight or not. But I do know I need to end it. It may be up in the morning. If it is, I apologize. I'm sure you can find something else to do tonight. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just say what I think, right? I know that nobody runs their life around this show. I know we have dedicated viewers, and I appreciate that. I try to get things out as quickly as I can around my lifestyle, and my lifestyle is so busy that sometimes it doesn't work, and I'm not very regular, as other than stuff gets up once a day, right? I've probably missed some things. Feel free to question or comment. I don't mind that, and obviously, you can just do that. I appreciate everybody watching. I've got to get back talking to my wife, and we've got to square this thing up. We have 500 plus days to go. That seems like a long time, but I bet it isn't. Time flies. Do what you need to do now, because time flies, and before you know it, you'll be older and things will have changed. Don't wait forever. Doesn't mean jump off a cliff. It means figure it out and do it. Thanks for watching. I appreciate everything. I appreciate the thumbs up if you like the video. Subscribers, new subscribers are welcome. Thanks for the old subscribers. Enjoy the rest of your holidays. We'll be back tomorrow. I've got a bunch of orders to pack on Monday and regular stuff. We're going to try to wrap some things up and get out of the office for a few days. Tomorrow, Monday, is an in-office day. Pick well, list often. Happy holidays. Dealer out.
Hey, Wheeler.
Dealer Production.